Good evening to you. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here at the ANF Plus desk, here to talk about some big changes coming up in the forecast. We have some gloom this evening, still some drizzle outside, and we will still have a little bit more in the way of drizzle, some spotty light rain through the mid-evening hours, and then the big thing is the big chill that'll be moving in as we get into the new work week. In fact, let's take a live look outside. I cannot see all of downtown and midtown Atlanta. Certainly low visibility, very low clouds. The top 2/3 of some of those buildings obscured by low clouds. First alert, wet conditions this evening. Of course, we're kind of past that prime time holiday travel period, mid-afternoon to early evening, now that it's 8 p.m. But if you do have any travel plans, and the connector is still filled with, decent number of people, or maybe you're heading to the grocery store after just getting home from your trip and trying to get stocked up for the new work week. Of course, tomorrow is Monday. It's those sorts of activities where you will be dealing with not only the damp weather, the chilly weather, but truly it's kind of cold outside now. Not just chilly, we've kind of bypassed that. It's feeling like it's in the 30s at times when the wind blows, and the actual temperature down to 40 flat in Athens, 40 in Gainesville, 41 in Canton, 43 in Decula, 42 Covington, 45 Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport, 44 Carrollton, and 47 down in LaGrange. I'm going to draw this on the map for you, but it's pretty obvious at this point that this wedge of cool air has filtered back into North Georgia, and that is why you see cooler temperatures here, even in Athens and Eatonton, Putnam County, versus even the mountains. Blue Ridge, 43, Blairsville, 45, typically the coolest towns on the map, but that is not the case this evening. Temperatures coldest Athens, Clark, Oconee counties, down to Greene County, up into Habersham County, the Toccoa area, Banks County, down into Gwinnett County, northeast side of the city. That is where the blues are deeper there on the map and where temperatures are chillier. Meanwhile, Roanoke, Alabama, Wedowee, and LaGrange in the upper 40s. Regardless, when the wind blows, it's feeling chillier. And even if you live on the southwest side and it is, in the upper 40s, I'm willing to bet you're still reaching for the jacket if you're about to head out. Maybe on that final dog walk of the evening, for example. Hour-by-hour forecast. The gloom, the rain gradually subsides by 11 p.m. I think most of the drizzle starting to wane. Maybe still a little bit of that, though, but not quite as steady and as road-soaking as it has been. A gradual decline in our temperature. Notice how now through 3 a.m., temperatures really don't budge that much. And then as colder air starts to settle in, that wind will pick up. Notice 3 a.m. out of the northwest at 9, 5 a.m. northwest at 11, 9 a.m. northwest at 13. We could actually have our coldest point of the morning after sunrise as the cold air really settles in, and it's around that time that we will start to see some clearing on across the area, North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. So your weather highlights, of course, we still have that first alert for the next little bit. Really, most folks are indoors. They're not impacted, but I have been seeing some Instagram stories of everyone going out and decorating, multiple trips to Home Depot. And it's those activities could be impacted by the drizzle this evening. It is getting a little late, though, now, 8:21 on your Sunday evening. And then cold wind tomorrow. It's not just chilly. It's not just cold without the wind. It's the wind itself that will make it feel extra nippy out the door tomorrow morning. And then it's that same cold air mass once the winds do calm down, once skies do completely clear out, that'll help give us our greatest chance, the city of Atlanta's greatest chance of an official freeze so far this season, the first in more than 250 days. It has been 251 days as of today since our last freeze at Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport, and we were watching Tuesday morning and we were watching Wednesday morning in particular for that greater risk of a freeze across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. In fact, let's break it down day by day for you. I'm going to pull up a different weather graphic here. This is just low temperatures over the next several days, giving you an idea as to which day has the greatest potential to feature temperatures, morning low temperatures, 32 degrees or colder. Again, that graphic loading up for you right now. Notice how tomorrow morning around 40, that's in the city though, colder north and northwest. Feeling like it's 30 with that wind factored in. Actual low temperature, 34 Hartsfield Jackson. That's Tuesday morning. Again, still a breeze Tuesday morning, so it'll probably feel like it's in the mid-20s out the door. You'll want the heavy winter coat. Make sure your students have the gloves on, the coats on, that underlayer on. It's going to be chilly. It's going to be cold, in fact. And then Wednesday, forecasting a low temperature of 31. Some data colder, and keep in mind, that is at the airport. It will be colder, no doubt about it. Outside of the perimeter, even some of our inside the perimeter neighborhoods away from Midtown, Downtown, and Hartsfield Jackson will be colder. So keep that in mind. You will want to make sure that you are bundled up. Make sure your plants are covered, the sensitive stuff, the summer and early fall annuals that at this point I'm still surprised if they've made it in your yard. For example, I have ginger, outside of my bedroom window, and technically, I live inside the perimeter. And even though I officially, our official thermometer for the city at Hartsfield-Jackson has not hit freezing, that ginger has been burned just a little bit out there, certainly giving the appearance that we have already had frost and freezes. And while we have had frost, we have not had a freeze. So, long story short, gardeners, a lot of the really sensitive stuff, it has not been covered yet, has probably already bit the dust. If you have been covering, protecting, maybe moving it into the greenhouse, you will just want to make sure that you do that again as we get into our really, go ahead and make that action tomorrow for the city of Atlanta. If you live in the mountains, again, would be even more surprised if you have sensitive vegetation that's not covered or protected in some way. But if you don't, go ahead and move it in tonight, because you all could wake up to mid and upper 30s tomorrow morning. But for the city, the general metro, it is going to be a bigger threat to plants Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning. Again, we'll go ahead and pop that back up for you right now. And notice that by Thursday, we're kind of climbing out of this a bit, but still mid to upper 30s, probably a frosty Thursday morning. And then much more manageable, not quite as cold, but definitely jacket weather Friday morning at 43. And then mornings get mild. Saturday, Sunday mornings, low to mid 50s. Of course, no surprise, this time of year, typically, when you have a change in the temperature, you can also expect a change in the seeable or the impactful weather conditions. Typically, when it is cold, it is clear, it is sunny down here. Not always the case. We can get winter weather and clouds and stuff like that. But certainly this time around, Tuesday, Wednesday, sunniest, coldest. And then as we start to warm back up, clouds re-enter the picture. That's no coincidence. Southerly flow ahead of our next storm system, helping to increase moisture and the temperature. Friday, little speed bump, little pause on that warm up as we're down into the upper 50s to near 60. I think warmer southwest of Atlanta. One of those weird Fridays where it's warmer on the southwest side, colder on the northeast side as that wedge of cool air once again makes an appearance. So a little chillier chance of rain during the day. And then we may actually have we probably will have additional rounds of showers and some thunderstorms too, mind you, embedded in there onto the weekend. It won't rain all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, all day the next Monday, but it will from time to time during that 72 to 96 hour window, really all of next weekend from time to time. There will be rounds of rain and probably some embedded thunderstorms as temperatures climb back into the 60s. And we get a little bit milder. In fact, some of that rain could be heavy. We're watching that potential for you. And if confidence grows as we work to resolve the timing of this next, several rounds of rain as we get into next weekend, we will first alert the forecast once we get more confidence on which time periods you will need to be extra alert to the likelihood by that point of rain and storms. But for now, just kind of bookmark Friday, Saturday, Sunday as days in which weather could have a little bit of a greater impact on your plans. And in fact, I'm going to work on something for you. Going to cut it back over to me here for just a second. This is a graphic we have in the First Alert Weather Center. Just going to make some updates to it, talking about rainfall accumulation. In fact, we can go ahead and bring it over to you. This is over the next 3 days. So really what falls tonight. This is what is expected to fall tonight. Perhaps up to 1/4 of an inch in some of our mountain communities. So I think far less than that in most areas. 1/10 of an inch or less Metro Atlanta. Basically the drizzle we have now, that is all we're going to have between now and Thursday. And then after Thursday, some bigger changes in the First Alert forecast. That more impactful storm system on the way. And the chance of additional, not just rain, but maybe some heavy rain and thunderstorms. And you can see that here. As I pull out this new graphic, I'm just making some subtle edits to it real quick. All I have to do is change some keys and enter in a new URL, and sure enough, that's the update. And this is not the next 3 days. This is actually out to the next 7 days now with this new data in. And you will notice how rainfall is expected to be relatively heavy. Again, this is going to fall in rounds. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, on into next Monday, probably drying out Tuesday into Wednesday. And you notice the scale, top center of the screen, 3 inches there in kind of that pinkish maroon red, 4 to 5 inches southwest of Roanoke, Alabama, Wedowee, Alabama, LaGrange, Georgia. This falling between Friday and Sunday. Looks like a decent soaker, and hey, with drought conditions, we need it. We still very much need significant rain, widespread and long-lasting rain across North Georgia. And what's good about this next setup is that it won't all fall at once. We're going to have a few different rounds and perhaps some periods of light to moderate rain, steady but light, to really soak into our drier than average soil. And hopefully we can get some runoff into the lakes as well. Alatoona and Lanier, really all of our big lakes running a little low. Some of our smaller mountain lakes also low, but especially the big lakes, Lanier and Alatoona, in the worst shape, or have been. And as we head back into the forecast here in just a moment, now what we're going to do is walk hour by hour. Again, we were talking about the potential for frost and freeze conditions as we get into our Tuesday and our Wednesday. So we know it is chilly today. I had my jacket on, had my cardigan on, admittedly, today because it's pretty chilly. You have the breeze, you have the drizzle. It is a gloomy, cold, seemingly winter, though still technically fall day, but we're going to see some bigger changes, a new air mass filter into North Georgia and Metro Atlanta, and that's going to bring some even bigger changes, perhaps the first freeze in more than 250 days. Officially, at least, to the city of Atlanta, many already have had their first freeze, 32 degrees or colder. If not a couple of them by this point, but technically the city has not. Coldest the airport has been earlier this month, 34 degrees. But let's walk you through that hour-by-hour forecast. Starting right now, again, lots of clouds. That green you see is rain, drizzle, and spotty light rain. We're going to be dealing with that through maybe 10, 11 p.m. Temperatures basically steady through that time. This forecast model gets rid of the clouds. Those are those lighter grays and those whites in there as we get into early Monday morning, though I would not be surprised if we woke up to a mix of sun and clouds. I just don't buy the fact that it's going to be completely sunny as you get out the door for the early risers. We're talking, 6:30, 7:30 a.m., right as the sun is coming up. I just don't buy that it's going to be completely sunny, but I do think we will wake up to at least some sunshine. The greatest chance of complete sun would be up in the North Georgia mountains and far northwest Georgia, Chattooga County, Walker County, those areas. Further to the south and southeast, for example, Eatonton and Putnam, likely to hang on, the most likely to hang on to a little bit of that cloud cover as we go into, the post-sunrise time frame there on our Monday. Regardless, though, we are all clearing out at the latest, I would say, mid to late morning. Lunchtime on your Monday, it's going to be a cold one. Blue Ridge, 39. Atlanta 47, Eatonton 50, 47 LaGrange. That's at lunch under full sunshine, mind you, by that point. And gusty breezes, gusting 25, 30 miles an hour, making 40s feel like 30s, especially in the shade. It's going to be a chilly afternoon. Here we are, 3 p.m., the warmest, if you can say that, part of the day. Blue Ridge 43, Clayton up in Rabun County 49, LJ 46. Basically, all of our mountain communities staying low to mid 40s. Tomorrow. Clayton, of course, higher elevation, but not the highest up there, so a little cooler at 49, but not as chilly as Blue Ridge, for example, at 43. Lawrenceville 49, Dallas 47, Carrollton 47. You're there for just a moment. Here we are, dinner time, 6, 7 p.m. Already mid to upper 30s, mountains, upper 30s, lower 40s elsewhere. Even the city of Atlanta by 7 p.m. back down to 43. What may save us from a widespread freeze in the city Tuesday morning, see those kind of stretched out wispy whites and grays there? Those are high-level clouds. If we want ideal conditions for temperatures to absolutely plummet overnight, we would want a clear sky. We probably won't have a completely clear sky. We would want calm winds. I still think there will be a breeze Monday night. And we would want dry air. We'll have that. And we'll want cold air. We will have that. But not the perfect setup for temperatures to absolutely plummet Monday night into Tuesday morning. I still think we get close to freezing in Atlanta, but those clouds may keep us just above. Regardless, it'll feel colder than what that temperature says, so it'll still feel like it is below freezing. And then Tuesday is just going to be a plain old sunny, brisk, cold day. Temperature struggling to get up to 50 once again. And then as we get into Tuesday evening, we'll go ahead and pause the clock here at 7. Even the city of Atlanta back upper 30s, lower 40s. That's Tuesday evening, on our way to upper 20s and lower 30s as we get into our Wednesday morning. Now, I want to remind you, we are streaming across many platforms right now. We're about 15 minutes into the feed. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, YouTube, the place to be. Atlanta News First is the account to follow. Also, we're streaming across a variety of other platforms, including right here, your phone, atlantanewsfirst.com, First Alert Weather app, the Atlanta News First app. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, so YouTube, the place to be. And monitoring that feed here just to my left And we'll keep it up there for the next few minutes. In fact, we're going to load back up your weather graphics and put up the 7-day here and kind of sit on that for a moment, talk about the work week, because I know that's a big part of your planning is just the layout of the work week. And most of it will be dry. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, rain-free, but we're cold. Lots of sunshine, though. Temperatures struggling into the 50s Monday, Tuesday. Many will stay in the 40s. Temperatures plummeting to near freezing Tuesday in Atlanta. I think many will record a freeze. Even the city of Atlanta forecast to reach a low temperature of 31 degrees at Hartsfield-Jackson, typically the airport, the core of the city, with all of our pavement just a little bit warmer than everyone else. So if the airport's 31, mid to upper 20s, certainly a possibility outside of the perimeter. Mid-20s more reserved for our cold spots and those well away from I-285. Mountains pretty much guaranteed to be low to mid-20s. Could even be some upper teens, highest of elevation sprinkled in up there. And then a gradual warm-up. Still chilly Thursday. Could be perhaps, even though a little warmer Thursday morning, may actually have the most widespread frost, the best conditions for frost to form. That could actually be Thursday morning. And then a little bit warmer, but also wetter as we get into Friday and next weekend. We're going to warm it up a bit. South winds, more clouds, all ahead of our next storm system. And I want to remind you can get that 10-day forecast looking into the following work week at AtlantaNewsFirst.com right now, and also in the Atlanta News First app and in the First Alert Weather app. Again, I want to thank you for joining. Noticing folks don't seem to have too many questions, concerns, comments on the YouTube feed. A reminder, if you do have anything else that you're thinking about that maybe you forgot to ask or you just randomly think about it any time of day, you can always reach out to me on social media. Cutter Martin, CutterMartin, Instagram, Twitter, or X, also Threads and Facebook. Posted about the weather pretty much multiple times a day. And remember, it's not just me, largest team of meteorologists in the Southeast. First Alert Meteorologist Elliot Dorsey, Patrick Pete, Rodney Harris, Courtney Jacobazi, Fred Campagna, and First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez. We're all here to keep you updated and here to answer your weather questions. So if you do think of anything, if you're a gardener and you're wondering what your low temperature will be, what your risk to your plants will be this week as this cold air settles in, give me a holler. But again, right now this evening, if you are running errands, trying to grab some maybe food for the kiddos for lunches this week, going back to school from Publix or from Kroger, you're going to be dealing with this, and that is gloom, chilly temperatures, a breeze. That's in the forecast here this evening, but we switch to colder, windier weather overnight tonight. So go ahead and lay out the heavy coats for your students. Grab one for yourself as well, of course. Full forecast coming up in just a little bit, 10 p.m. on Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW affiliate. Also, Atlanta News First WANF tonight after the game. Probably going to go on a little bit late tonight. So reminder, you can always get that forecast if you can't stay up with us past 11 p.m. at AtlantaNewsFirst.com and in the First Alert Weather app. Have a wonderful evening and a great work week.